The City of Waterloo, in cooperation with its many active and inspiring entities, presents Hart for the City, a chance to hear and see what's going on in our city and to meet people who serve you, teach you, entertain you, help you, all neighbors and like you. Make this a city on the move. And now, here's our host, the Honorable Quentin Hart.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on Hart for the City. I'm Quentin Hart, proud mayor of Waterloo. We have another fine show lined up for you, reinforcing what we already know, and that is Waterloo is the most interesting and active place to live, play, and to work. So let's get started. Many exciting developments are occurring in Waterloo's north side. The redevelopment of Logan Plaza, a new hardware store, new restaurant, and upcoming additions to the Boys and Girls Club. But that is not all. The collaborative efforts of many individual groups and organizations are instrumental in the revitalization of the Walnut neighborhood. And finally, the way is now clear to build a 26,000 square foot supermarket located near US Highway 63 and Franklin Street. An addition that the community enthusiastically applauds. How did this last accomplishment come to be? Stay with us and we will have the answers after this. Recently, the Waterloo City Council voted unanimously to approve $1.3 million in grants, property tax breaks, and land donations for the estimated $8 million, 26,000 square foot all-in Grocers to be developed by entrepreneur Rodney Anderson and architect Dan Levi. This announcement brought cheers from the packed meeting at City Hall, and that is why I am honored to introduce Dan Levi and Rodney Anderson to welcome you to Hart for the City. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Or is it morning, or is it? I don't know which one.
Might be afternoon. Might be afternoon.
All right, man. Very emotional council meeting. You brought everyone to their feet, and we're going to talk about the project in just a second. But before that, for the community to know, for those that don't know you, tell us a little bit about who both of you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Rodney Anderson. I'm originally from Waterloo. Went to West High School, go Warhawks.
I forgive you for that, but
that's okay. That's okay, Mr. Mayor. I understand. Grew up in Waterloo, born and raised, and started commercial developing maybe 20 years ago.
Okay. And then what about you, Dan?
I've been an architect or in the architecture industry for my entire professional career in the Cedar Valley. Moved to town in '97 and never looked back.
Okay. And see you both just doing fantastic work within the community, working to people, whether it's on the business end or on a golf course, but both of you are absolutely involved in your community. But just what is All-In Grocers? Tell us a little bit about that project.
All-In Grocers is a beacon for Waterloo. It's not just a grocery store, it's a community grocery store, which is meaning that the community have a lot invested into it, as well as ourselves with jobs and the atmosphere of comfort shopping.
Okay. And then what is Uplift? Tell us, what is Uplift Solutions, I believe, or what is Uplift?
Uplift Solutions is our consultant on this project. They are in the Philadelphia area. They're experts in projects exactly like this, bringing nutritional food options to areas that are economically less off than others and finding creative funding sources and federal grants to make these projects more viable.
And I remember meeting with a couple of the gentlemen that you had brought here, and the extensive work they have done throughout communities throughout this country with presidential administrations to make sure that we're able to have fresh foods and jobs and stuff right in our local communities. It's easy to move stuff out near the perimeters of the city, but when you go back into a community and provide that, I mean, that's such a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. But when we talk about this project, how did it get started? I mean, is this overnight? But how did the project get started?
Project got started a year and a half ago. We're just riding along Franklin Street one day, and someone came with the idea of putting a grocery store on Franklin Street. And Mr. Mayor, you had a lot to do with it, a large part to do with it. There was a settling down at first of where to put this store at.
Right.
But after meeting with you, you came up with an idea in front of 5 or 6 people saying, hey, what about Franklin Street?
Right.
So it's been about a year and a half, and getting Uplift Solutions to work with us to put this store where it has to go.
And, structurally, sitting this, turning it a certain way, doing different things, you and Dan have really worked miracles to try to make this project fit in that location. Because remember, there was a House of Hope building, and we were able to work with them to help get some funding to have a larger site, which is what they needed as well. The neighborhood organization and taking input in, oh my gosh, this was the both of your willingness to listen and hear the neighbors, to me, was very impressive with this particular project as well. But tell us some details about this establishment. We know it's 26,000 square feet, but tell us what's going to be inside of the building.
Mr. Levi?
The project's actually grown a little bit. Originally, we were at 26,000.
Right.
After countless meetings with really exciting meetings with other people in the immediate community, as well as just Cedar Falls, Waterloo in general, taking in all their input, looking at other opportunities to provide great services. It's actually grown to about 33,000 square foot now. So we're going to have a full service supermarket, as well as a cafeteria style restaurant, family style restaurant, and a community room that's going to be available to any nonprofit in the community that either just needs meeting space or actually wants to provide some services out of. And we'll schedule that when it's appropriate for those individuals. But we really wanted this to be about the community, so we want to bring the community into the store and have reasons to come into the supermarket, not just to shop, but also to dine, and then also to receive services from some of the great nonprofits that we already have in the Waterloo area.
And one of the things that's interesting, and I think I mentioned it just a couple seconds ago, is the way that you were able to work with the citizens in that neighborhood. Who are some of the people you partnered with to try to, they may not have been on the financial end, but when you talk about community redevelopment in that area, who have you worked with?
Laura Hoy, Allie Parrish, and the great Miss Willa Mae Wright.
Absolutely.
When she spoke, everybody listened. So I started to get lazy on my end because she was picking up everything, doing what she's supposed to do, and doing what she felt like she had to do. We asked her for one thing, and she gave us 3.
Right.
So that was a large part of everything, is working with those folks in Walnut Court. And
you have a wonderful tribute with inside the grocery store. And what is that tribute for Willa Mae, I believe?
Mr. Levi?
The community center, which again is about outreach, not just bringing people in to necessarily get their dollars from shopping, but to expand services in the community. We wanted to commemorate that room, so we're actually naming it the Miss Willie Mae Wright Community Center in honor of her.
And for those that don't know, Willa Mae Wright was a former city councilwoman. She's been a community activist. She has been one of the greatest Americans, Iowans, to be from Waterloo. So, all of her efforts and working with you. And you also work with the neighborhood association. You work with the churches. There's another piece of this project with JSA to redevelop houses directly in that area, and working with Habitat like you mentioned. So this could be a great recipe for improvement in other areas of our community that may need some help and some rebirth.
Go ahead, Mr. Levi.
Sorry. This project so far has, in the 20 years I've been associated with professional development, not as a developer, but involved on the design side, is a clear example of what happens when you have a developer working with the city, working with private citizens, working with citizen organizations, working together, listening to each other, accommodating each other, trying to just be productive. And as Rodney said at the last city council meeting, always looking for an opportunity to end up with a situation that is a win-win-win.
Absolutely. Right. And construction is slated to begin
April 2nd.
April 2nd. So we're just going to, that weather and the ground is going to be ready to go and all of that, right?
Yes.
All right. We'll have to get some heating fans out there.
That'll be added into Mr. Levi cost.
There you go.
Yes.
No, it's pro bono.
No.
And then what about construction time? How long are you estimating?
We anticipate to be able to be open by the end of the year.
Oh my gosh! Oh, that's aggressive.
It is. We've got a great contractor on board with Huff Contracting. They're well aware of the project. We've had them along the whole way, continuing to work with us on our cost estimates as well as our scheduling. It's aggressive, but they are committed to doing everything they can, barring Mother Nature.
Well, you know, I just want to compliment the both of you. Phenomenal work. You know, Rodney, you always talk about being here from the city of Waterloo, wanting to give back. Yeah, we can go other places and develop, but you want to develop right here in the core, reestablish neighborhoods, and give back to the community. And Dan, there's no way you can be here that long and not to grow to love this community as well. Absolutely. So we thank you for your efforts as well. So the both of you, Dan and Rodney, thank you for filling us in on one of this exciting project. We appreciate the efforts, the risk, and the patience it takes to make this a reality. We are all excited and looking forward to the finalization of this greatly needed grocery stores, guaranteed to be not only a practical functioning establishment, but also one of many symbols of the new and revitalized Waterloo. So please come back. Maybe we can host a show there sometime as well. And in the near future, we appreciate all that you've done and for all the projects you will do. In 1918, John Deere purchased the Waterloo Boy Gasoline Engine Company, bringing the plant facilities and employees of the company into the John Deere organization. And 5 years later, production of the Waterloo Boy tractor began in earnest. The new era in ag truly began with the powerful new machine we know as the John Deere Model D. So successful was this tractor and the precision of this new products that follow that around 1933, Deere built several huge manufacturing multi-story buildings that would be the center of tractor manufacturing for decades. And in February of 2007, and with the revitalization and consolidation of their manufacturing facility, Deere donated more than $17.4 million in 4 buildings with land, technical assistance, and financial resources to the nonprofit group for the development of TechWorks. Incidentally, the 40 acres donated on the Westfield Avenue is a land area equal to roughly half of the total area downtown Waterloo. The building known as TechWorks 1, among other things, a center for one of the continent's largest 3D printers, and another building, the 180,000 square foot TechWorks 2, has blossomed into a premier world-class hotel with many amenities including a restaurant, a pub, an indoor amazing swimming pool, and on the top floor. And we will have more on this fantastic metamorphosis in just a moment.
There's a place that lies directly between where you've been and where you're going. It's the place in the middle, the place where your past and future connect. Hawkeye Community College is that place, connecting you to great faculty, engaged students, and four-year destinations like the University of Northern Iowa. Every masterpiece starts with a blank canvas, and every success story begins with an empty page. Start writing your story today. Hawkeye Community College. Connect.
The showcase $43 million hotel has remnant hints of industrial use and history by design. And to tell us more is Kim DeGood, the proud manager of the Courtyard by Marriott, located prominently on Westfield Avenue. So welcome, Kim. And all of us in Waterloo share your pride in this outstanding monumental project. So how are you today?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. I got out of the building, so that's always good.
Well, Kim, tell us a little bit about your background and your work with Marriott Hotels.
Oh, I've been in hospitality for a very, very long time. I won't tell you how many years because that will show my age.
Okay.
But I started opening hotels a couple years ago. I have 20 plus years of experience in hospitality. And I started working with hospitality specialists out of Michigan and opening hotels for them. And that's how I came to be here.
And how did the concept of converting an 88-year-old building into a hotel come into being?
One man's vision and a whole bunch of community, and it's a true testament of how the community can pull together and bring a vision to light.
And it's been a wonderful opportunity to see how public-private partnerships can just flourish and be such a great opportunity for the community, where the city should be able to assist in creating the environment, working on the state level, the federal level, to try to create avenues to be able to do a project like this, convert an old foundry building into
an abandoned one.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
So,
an abandoned one. It is so special. Were there some special accommodations or challenges that had to be considered in converting this building into from manufacturing to a luxury hotel?
Yes. Of course, it's probably one of the soundest buildings in Waterloo.
Right.
I do believe a tornado could come through and it would still stand.
But we don't want one yet.
No,
but just
we do
in
not.
case.
But when you build a hotel, it has to meet all of the current fire codes, electrical codes, and that type of stuff. And that becomes quite challenging when you're dealing with a brick building. We had to raise some of the floors to meet up to the windows. The pool was definitely an interesting one. So we definitely had our challenges, but I think everybody that had been working on this for 7+ years, it took a whole entire community to make this happen.
So when you talk about the pool, where is the pool located? And
On the 6th floor.
on the 6th floor.
Which to a manager is every manager's nightmare.
Right.
But from what I understand, they built tractors in there, and on the 6th floor was the full assembled tractors.
Oh
so
my gosh! Wow.
if it can hold those, it can hold a pool.
So is the pool in the shape of a tractor?
No.
Just now.
Although the kids would love that.
Right,
so.
right. Now that we thought about that, it came on here. But are there any special features or accommodations that it offers? A 6th floor pool? Is there a bar, restaurant?
Well, if you want to come to drink, we will have plenty of choices.
Right.
The bistro, the Courtyard Signature Bistro, that just rolled out their new 2.0 program.
Oh, wow.
It has a bar. The Iron Horse Pub, which is owned and operated by the owner, Rodney,
Right.
will have a bar. And the restaurant will have a bar.
Absolutely. Shout out to Rodney for the incredible vision and the persistence
Yeah.
with this project.
Most people, I think, would have given up by now.
Right.
And he just, I don't know, he just never gave up.
Yeah. Are there any outdoor facilities available, for weddings or receptions or reunions?
There is going to be eventually outside wedding receptions, probably not this year.
Right.
And then I do believe also that a deck hockey will be placed there. We are
wow.
kind of in the early stages of it, so we were working on that. And Rodney's vision goes on and on, so in a year, who knows what we could have there. So.
And how many rooms are available there? Or are there special
166.
166. Are there suites or are there?
Is there suites? We have
Is there a mayoral suite?
There is a mayor one. It's 2,000 square feet.
Oh my gosh!
It's bigger than my house.
Yours too?
Yes. Has walk-in closets.
Oh my god!
2 bedrooms. It has a refrigerator that has a TV, talks to you, does everything. So yeah, it is absolutely
I was just playing.
gorgeous.
Wow, that's
No.
incredible.
So that in alone is very unique.
Wow. Are there any types of John Deere tractor themes anywhere? Any tie-in?
Not yet. We are going to, I'm in the early stages of trying to work with the John Deere Tractor Museum. We would like to start being able to hand out, or inserts to tell people that travel here about the history of the building.
Right.
And we would like at some point to like display pictures in the lobby
Oh, wow.
of what it looked like before, the stages of it, and all that.
Okay. Okay. Are conference rooms or space available as such?
We have a banquet hall, 4,500 square feet.
Oh, wow.
And then we have 2 smaller conference centers that are attached to those 2,000 square feet. So if that's not enough room, you also have a conference room.
And that was like a training center kind of concept, I believe.
I believe
with
so.
the- okay.
John Deere's training center will be located on the 2nd floor.
And then workout facilities yet?
Fitness center, the
Okay.
biggest fitness center I've ever seen in a hotel.
Oh, wow, really?
Eventually we could offer aerobics.
Okay. And employees, because a project like this has to be a lot of staffing to be able to do that. Can you tell us?
We probably have 42 to 50 employees right now. We are obviously just ramping up. We are actually just starting to do another hiring tour just because we are ramping up so quickly. When the restaurant and the pub, I would say 100 to 125 employees total.
Oh my gosh.
Employ.
Wow. So when you think about a project, sometimes we don't ask how many people will be working in a particular area. But this project, yeah, it's wonderful building, revitalization, hotel, but this is jobs. Jobs as well. And it's all part of the redevelopment that's taking place in downtown Waterloo. Our skyline, I'm always happy to brag, our skyline is absolutely changing downtown. So to see the Courtyard Marriott up on the signs coming off the highway is just such a great feature for downtown as well. You mentioned the restaurant. What was the name again?
It'll be Blue Iguanas and American Spirits.
Iguanas.
So it will have a Mexican theme, but it will also offer American Spirits. So.
Okay. So are those open? Will they be open, or what's open now for amenities?
The hotel is open.
First and foremost, the hotel.
The hotel is open.
Okay.
The bistro is open. The restaurant will be open by July 1st.
Oh my gosh.
I'm assuming that the pub will either be shortly around there or a little bit before that.
Okay. So just great opportunity. I want to thank you so much, Kim, for all that you're doing for the Courtyard Marriott, the development, the city of Waterloo. And I want to thank you also for visiting with us and sharing the details of the showcase building, which one that is significantly adds to the evolving Waterloo downtown district. So I encourage all citizens to visit the hotel, stay at the hotel, and see the spectacular transformation from a heavy industrial manufacturing building to a community centerpiece for local citizens and out-of-towners as well. And remember that in June, John Deere is celebrating its 100th anniversary of manufacturing in Waterloo, and the Marriott will certainly be a significant part of that celebration. Do these names sound familiar? Dave Barrett, Jack Bruner, Rich Folkers, Mike Hafner, Marte Jenkins, J.J. Moses, Don Perkins, Reggie Roby, Zood Shamo, and Darren Sproles. These are just some of the notable athletes who made it into the bigs of professional sports. And what do they have in common? Got it? You got it? They were all born in Waterloo. But however, perhaps the most accomplished and best known athlete born and raised in Waterloo is Danny Mack. And that's Dan Gable, former Olympic wrestler and head coach at the University of Iowa, where he won 15 NCAA team titles between 1976 and 1997. He's also famous for having lost only one match in his entire Iowa State collegiate career. One of his finest accomplishments is winning a gold medal in the 1972 Olympic Games in Munich while not giving up a single point. How is his legacy in the sport of wrestling celebrated? You won't want to miss this story coming up.
The Cedar Valley Sportsplex is your destination for fitness and recreation. You'll have access to over 50 classes per week in our state-of-the-art facility at no additional cost. Work out with like-minded individuals through our circuit training, aqua jam, and more. Customize your workouts on over 60 pieces of pre-core equipment. Our qualified personal trainers can help you achieve your fitness goals. Worried about the kids? Childcare offered 7 days a week.
The National Wrestling Hall of Fame Dan Gable Museum, located at 303 Jefferson Street in Waterloo, provides an educational and entertaining look at the sport of wrestling at all levels. And here to provide insights into just what this outstanding facility has to offer is Executive Director Kyle Klingman. Welcome, Kyle. How are you?
Hey, great to be on the show. I appreciate this. You're one cool dude, maybe the coolest mayor in the history of Waterloo. We'll see if you're the best.
You know what? We can just cut right there, and that's it. And I want to tell you, you're one of the greatest Dan Gable Wrestling Museum Executive Directors and coolest that I've ever met.
I will take it. I will take that to the bank because, hey, we're the wrestling capital of the world.
Yes, we are.
And you're the mayor of that. I'd like to think I'm the president of the wrestling
Absolutely.
capital, but you're the mayor of the wrestling capital of the world.
How about I be governor and you can be president?
We can do that. We can switch roles.
I just can't wrestle. I think I told you my 8th grade story. I saw the turtle, I saw the lights, counted lights from being on my back, but I'm glad that you have it all under control. But Kyle, tell us a little bit about your background, and we know we'll ask you a little bit about being a runner, which you could talk about that, but where did this passion develop from wrestling?
I went out for wrestling in junior high, and then I felt like running was a little bit better fit for me as far as my body style and what I was going to be able to excel in. And I still wanted that wrestling bug. I still had it.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine named Doug Van Gelder, he was actually the dad of one of my classmates, said, hey, you got to get to dual meets. You've got to go do these things. So I went to my first NCAA championships in Iowa City in 1995, and I was hooked, and I haven't missed since. So
Oh, wow,
I
really?
just got hooked on that. My mom went to Oklahoma State, which was a big wrestling school. My dad went to UNI, so we went to UNI wrestling meets. And so you just had a combination of things, and here I am in 2018 still loving the sport.
Oh, so wow. So you're not a Oklahoma Sooner.
No, no.
But you were born. Where were you born at, and where did you live growing up?
I was born in Caracas, Venezuela. Moved here when we were 2. My family is from Iowa and Oklahoma. And we came back here and just grew up in Cedar Falls, but then got a chance to bring the National Wrestling Hall of Fame Dan Gable Museum to Waterloo. It was in Newton, Iowa. Came up in 2007, had that devastating flood in 2008, rebuilt, reopened in 2009, actually made a merger with the National Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2010. And here we are with national prominence, and really proud that we're in Waterloo.
So you just took like the first 3-4 questions I had. Just did.
We can keep going with it though. I got more.
And message. So, so Newton had the original,
Correct.
and it ended up moving to the city of Waterloo, where Dan Gable was born and raised and wrestled at. Correct?
Yeah. And that was why we came, is because nothing had really been done to recognize Dan Gable's legacy. And when you look at the scope of things, you think of what he's done as an athlete, as a coach. He's the #1 sports figure in the state of Iowa, according to Sports Illustrated.
Right.
3 statues throughout the state. It's remarkable what he's been able to accomplish. And so the compilation of those things are why we're here.
And I remember being on council a couple years ago when the partnership with the National Wrestling Hall of Fame happened. What does that mean to the museum once that partnership happened?
It means we're national in scale now. It means you have a nice degree of credibility. So if the Babe Ruth Museum combined with the National Baseball Hall of Fame, that would be a big coup. That's what we are. We're an extension of the biggest branch for the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. And so it just gives us an ability to promote more, it gives us more prestige, and it just gives us an ability to showcase Waterloo at an even higher level.
So are there, and within the museum, are there active events taking place? And I believe you have a partnership with Carver Academy as well?
We used to. We actually have one with the Future Trojans Wrestling Club, so it's a kind of an extension of that. But having kids come in, we have a female elite wrestling program. We have the Future Trojans in there. So our goal with the museum, we have a museum there, of course, but we also have a wrestling room, and we're in the process of expanding and renovating our entire facility. So we're going to have a bigger wrestling room, better technology, and it allows us to impact more kids, and that's what we want to do. We want to be able to have kids coming through there at all levels, and we want to educate them through the sport. So you can have the training, and then you have side by side, you have the education on the sport. So we're going to be state of the art, which we are now, but we're going to be at an even higher level.
And you know what's great about that is that, since there aren't any professional teams within the city or the state, That does not mean that you can't have an impact overall on a sport. And Dan Gable's legacy has had an impact. It has shaped the way wrestling is today. So seeing that connection with the young people that are there and opening up those resources, because some organizations can say, okay, no, we're not. But you're saying we are because you're planting seeds in the young people that come through there every day, which is absolutely important. And you have events happening there regularly. Where can people find out what's taking place or where the events are and what they are?
Our website's always a good start, nwhof.org. I'd say the best way, though, to just keep up on all of the happenings, Twitter at Wrestling Museum is our Twitter handle, Instagram, and then Facebook. We have a lot of things going on there. It's just National Wrestling Hall of Fame Dan Gable Museum. So the social media is the vibrant way to keep up with things. It's the constant source of information. Of course, the website's always a good location to just get overall event, but just keep up with us. It's a great way to find out what we're doing, all the youth programming we have, and then with the renovation, you can keep up on what we're doing there.
Which leads me into, I got a quote from you, so this will go down in history as your quote.
Okay.
And last year you said, it will still be a museum, but we want to go past that and have a dynamic experience. In about 20 seconds or less, can you elaborate on that comment?
We don't just want it to be a one-stop shop. We want people to feel like they're a part of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame Dan Gable Museum, just like you want people to feel like they're part of Waterloo. You don't want them to stop one time and say, hey, I visited Waterloo. You want them to feel like they're a part of this community, and so we want to be part of the community of Waterloo, and then we want people to feel like they're part of the museum for the rest of their lives.
Well, one way that people can feel a part of it, do you have an interactive wrestling simulator where you can actually get in and wrestle, or do we need to develop that?
I think we need to get on the Hart train for that. I mean, show us some love with the heartbeat there.
They have the golf simulators.
That's true. I don't know what we can do.
They have the driving simulators.
We actually do, now that you say that. It's called the Adam the Takedown Machine. It's in our wrestling room. I can't believe I didn't think of that until now, but we do have it.
We need to, the next time you come on the show or when you do the expansion or something, we need to do the show from right there, and the mayor can do the Adam Takedown thing. How about that?
Can I count on you to do that? Because I don't want you to just say it and then it's funny here, but I want you to actually
I need to put on some sports cream first and loosen up the joints a little bit and be ready to go. But
that'll be fun.
But Kyle, thanks so much for sharing it with us, some of the great things the Dan Gable Museum offers. We would certainly like to have you back in the future. Waterloo has an amazing legacy in wrestling, and that legacy continues to develop. And thanks to the museum that bears the name of the world's most accomplished wrestler, Dan Gable, and for your labor of love in wrestling. So we always will make a place for you, and we appreciate having you on Hart for the City. Looking for something to do that informs, entertains, and educates? Don't overlook our outstanding downtown Waterloo museums. Of course, there is again the National Wrestling Hall of Fame Dan Gable Museum, but also keep in mind the Center for the Arts and Phelps Youth Pavilion, John Deere Tractor and Engine Museum, and the 5 sites of the Grout Museum District, which includes the Sullivan Brothers Iowa Veterans Museum and the Planetarium Shows. All great ways to spend time for persons and families of all ages. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Discover your past, present, and future at the Grout Museum District. Explore and play at the Bluedorn Science Imaginarium. This interactive science center provides fun, hands-on exhibits and live science demonstrations. Visitors can explore more than 90 different exhibits and marvel at the aquariums and enclosures that are home to a variety of amphibians, fish, reptiles, snakes, and arachnids. Enjoy both permanent and temporary exhibits at the Grout Museum of History and Science. Take in a planetarium show and learn all about the history of the Cedar Valley. Marvel at the Victorian elegance of the Snowden House and the Rensselaer Russell House Museum. Visit the Sullivan Brothers Iowa Veterans Museum and take in its traditional and interactive displays. Veteran stories are told throughout the museum's mini theaters, interactive maps, dog tag stations, and more. Visit gmdistrict.org for details, hours, and rates.
Well, that's our show. We have a remarkable reference for entertainment, shopping, eating, sporting events, and other activities that can be found on the Waterloo Tourism and Visitors Bureau award-winning website, and that is travelwaterloo.com. This website is for everyone and not just visitors. And remember to tell others that the Hart for the City episodes are available for your viewing on the City of Waterloo homepage, and that's cityofwaterlooiowa.com. Also, be sure to like the Hart for City on Facebook. So please join us next time, and thanks for watching Hart for the City. Until then, I think you will agree it's a great day to be in Waterloo.